All right, let me share my screen here. All right, just a couple of announcements. You guys let me know if you guys can see the screen because it takes time sometimes. Let me know if you can see the screen. Can you? Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, so this Saturday will be the Become a Master Manifestor Master Class. All right, so we'll be going over 8 very in-depth tips on how to become a manifestor. Okay, and a manifestor is someone who can create something out of nothing. All right. Get your tickets. It will be for March 25th. That is this Saturday. Get your tickets. The VIP tickets are $22 more than the regular class session. You will be receiving my workbook, which is the 8 steps, and we'll be going through that workbook together on a separate Zoom call. We will be having a meditation and a hypnosis session for that VIP ticket as well. Okay, that will not have a replay. The replay will be emailed to each ticket holder. And you guys can have the replay, but that replay will not be placed on YouTube. So it will actually become a course, and that will be placed on my website, and it will be a lot higher than what the tickets are right now. Okay, so take advantage of that. Okay, donation for this session is welcome. If you are being led to give an offering or a donation or just a love offering, please send it to Cash App Be Karen King. Okay, especially if you felt that you received something from this course, this class, this session, whatever you want to call it right now. Please donate. Awesome. So I am currently taking clients for hypnosis and healing sessions. You can visit qsinfinite.com and sign up for a free consultation just to get you started, just to see which direction you would like to go and what we'll be doing the hypnosis and the healing sessions on. When you are ready for the hypnosis session, you will sign up for the Infinite Healing Session Services on my website. And it's at 123.45. Yes, that's 12345. That is done on purpose. Okay, it is that. Now, I will be quite honest with you. Once I'm done with clinical hours, because I'm doing clinical hours for hypnosis right now, once we are done with the hypnosis certification, that price will go up. So please take advantage of it. Take advantage of it now. All right, the inner critic. All right, so we all have an inner critic. And sometimes we be wanting to shut that inner critic down, like, oh, be quiet, get out of my head, right? So what is the inner critic? The inner critic is an inner voice that expresses criticism, frustration, or disapproval about our actions. Give me 1 second here, let me get Lexus in. Sorry about that. I had to click Lexus in. All right. So inner critic is an inner voice that expresses criticism, frustration, or disapproval about our actions. It may sound like you should, or why didn't you, or what's wrong with you, or why can't you get it together? So it's an actual self-talk, and it's different for each and every one of us. So the frequency and the intensity of how it affects our lives and how it affects us is different, okay? So my inner critic might be something that I can shut down fairly quickly, but some other people's inner critics might be a little loud where it's difficult for them to shut it down, right? So in culture, sometimes it's normal to believe that criticism or guilt-induced comments will motivate behavior. For some of us who are from the island, I'm from the island of Haiti. I grew up in the Haitian culture. They will criticize you to death. Let me tell you that. And that's a part of our culture because they feel as though if they embarrass you, if they make you feel a certain type of way, then your behavior will change, right? That's where it's up. And perhaps the thinking is that if you realize that your actions aren't good enough or ideal, you'll want to change them, you'll want to modify them, you want to adapt it to something different. So the critic also gives us a sense of control. Everybody mute your lines. The feedback is coming through. All right. Gotta mute your lines when y'all coming in so the feedback doesn't come through. Thank you. Thank you. So it's also a sense of control. So sometimes criticism from other people is like, well, let me control you with this criticism if I make you feel as though that you're not doing something right or if you're not good enough. That's something that happens a lot with nothing against church people, nothing against pastors, nothing against religion, but it does happen a lot in religion and it does happen a lot in church where they'll guilt trip you in that kind of way, and it's kind of like a negative criticism, right? So other people, like your families and your friends, they may make like comments that they think they're helping you. They really do think that they're helping you, but these comments are judgmental or they're controlling to us, okay? They're controlling to us. We can also use the judgmental or controlling thoughts with ourselves as a way of coping with fear, coping with shame, and coping with the things that are unknown. When we're ignorant about a subject, when we just don't know something about, a certain culture, or we don't know something about a certain religion or a certain practice, we might use that inner criticism to basically stop us from knowing more. So inner criticism is kind of something that we use to control ourselves. And sometimes we use it to control ourselves so that we don't go into danger, okay? We don't go into danger, all right? So comments made to self to stay in control or protect ourselves from hurt. We basically internalize these comments over time after we've heard it over and over again. If you've heard that you're not beautiful over and over again, you're going to start to internalize it. That's the law of repetition. Because you've heard it so many times, it starts embedding into your subconscious and you start believing it. You start feeling as though, well, maybe I'm not all that good for real. Maybe I'm not all that beautiful for real. Maybe I am weird. And then it turns into the inner critic. And the persistent inner critic, the persistent negative self-talk keeps us in lack. It keeps us in vicious cycles. It keeps us stuck in certain positions that we want to get out of. We want to start that business, but we're in this inner critic because we've heard that we're going to mess up, or we're impatient, or we're not good enough so many times. We sit on that idea, and then when we see somebody else doing it, then here comes that inner critic again. Well, you should have did it. Well, that's your fault. You should have did it. You're making all that money over there. So the inner critic kind of works both ways. It'll stop you from doing something, and then it will come up when the thing that you were supposed to do, and you see somebody else being successful at it, it'll come up again. It'll come up again. So it's basically negative self-talk, and it keeps us bounded. So persistent inner critics can lead to certain behaviors and certain effects in us. So unfortunately, this type of communication to ourselves is anxiety provoking. It will provoke anxiety. There's people who've had situations with groups and social issues where they want to go and celebrate with you. They want to go to this simple dinner party, They want to go to this simple outing with you, but they can't. They start getting anxiety because that inner critic comes up and it's like, what if you don't dress right? What if you make a joke and nobody laughs at it? What if people think that you're weird? What if your looks are not up to par like everybody else's? It's the what if that comes up, and then it starts provoking anxiety. Your chest starts getting tight, you start breathing funny, and you start coming up with a million and one excuses why you can't go now. When in actuality, you holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back from meeting new people. You're holding yourself back from joining society. You're holding yourself back, right? It can also cause avoidance of people, places, and yourself. Let's not forget what it does to self, okay? How many of you have had chances where there's certain things that you need to heal? There's certain things that you need to get over, but you will avoid it because the inner critic is like, girl, you know you slow. Girl, you've been like this for a while. Everybody's been telling you that you like this. That's that inner critic talking to you. Everybody knows that you like this. So what's the point of you even trying? Don't even waste your time, girl. What is wrong with you? Okay? So then you start doing something new. You stay busy. You stay busy. Okay? So all of these things, the anxiety provoking, the shaming, that's opposite of motivation. And it triggers us to avoid. And when we avoid, it's our mind trying to reduce the anxiety. It's trying to reduce the hurt. It's trying to keep you safe, right? It's trying to make sure that you stay safe, make sure that you don't stay in your hurt, okay? So avoidance isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when it's coupled with the inner critic, it can really be detrimental to motivating you to do things to change. It can be detrimental to you to do things to heal. It can be detrimental in motivating you to not even try your best for that business, to go further in your life, keeping you in a cycle. Okay? If the messages are shaming, such as what's wrong with you, or you're not good enough, we can become paralyzed with fear. Fear of failure, fear of showing who we are, fear of accepting who we are, right? All right? And it makes us feel like we're flawed, like we don't deserve to be in connection with other people. We don't deserve to be around those who are on the same level as us, was created with the same power, created with the same sound mind, and created with the same love that we have. Bleed the same blood we have, we start being fearful of really having meaningful connections. And the shame, it disconnects us from others and teaches us to feel alone. Well, you know what? I'm better off by myself. You know what? I'm not even going to get into a relationship right now. Because, you know, I have certain things that I need to change, and I'm not able to do that right now. So I might as well just stay by myself. You start internalizing it and thinking that you're the problem. So as humans, we are hardwired at a cellular level for connection, and we are sabotaging ourselves. We're sabotaging ourselves when we allow the inner critic to stop these connections from happening. When we feel shame, these feelings physically make us want to go inside ourselves, withdraw, and can further trigger avoidance behaviors as a way to comfort or soothe. So the point is that the shame and the self-criticism keep us from doing the things that we love, the things that we are called to do in this world. the things that we are destined to do, our purpose out here. So, and ultimately, just we find comfort in having no connections. We find comfort in being unmotivated. We find comfort and we start leaning towards addictive behaviors. Okay, so the avoidance generally includes things as procrastination. We know we could write this book right here. We know everybody will be blessed when we write this book, but maybe they don't want to listen to me. Maybe what I got to say, you know what, there's so many people that's writing about this. Maybe I should just let them have it. But your story is unique. Your experience is not the same as my experience. We all might have had horrible relationships, been in toxic relationships, but your experience, how it affected you, how you got out of it, and how you healed from it is unique to you. I might have went a different route, and somebody may need to hear that to come up out of depression, to come up out of anxiety, but you're procrastinating because your inner critic is like, you know what, there's so many, love books, there's so many things going on. I don't really need. I don't really need. All right? So we begin to gain addictive behaviors as well, such as overeating, grazing when we're not hungry, drinking, smoking, cigarettes, whatever. Behaviors such as consistently checking our smartphone. What are we looking for? We're looking for validation. Because that inner critic is telling us that we don't have it, so we're looking for the validation in other places. We're looking for other things to make us happy. All the while, our health is declining. We're becoming overweight. We're blackening our wounds. We're drinking ourselves to death, right? We're avoiding the situation. We're avoiding what we're supposed to be doing. We start watching excessive television just so that we don't have to think about certain things, just so that we don't have to be in the mindset of, let me try to heal this. Let me try to go into a different direction in where I'm going. We start substituting things. We start using things to substitute, right? Or even avoiding the source of the criticism or shame, such as the person that makes us feel bad. We start avoiding them. We start doing things out of our way just so that we don't see them. If we got to go out our door and pass their door, we'll go out the back door. Instead of driving past their house, we'll take the whole house just so that we can avoid them. We know that they might start talking about certain things, so we start being in control of the conversation. We'll laugh it off. How many of us in here has a nervous laugh? When you're nervous, you laugh. We'll start laughing. That's nothing. Man, okay. We get that nervous laugh come up so that we don't have to go through anything that may seem like it's going to hurt us, that may seem like it's going to bother us, that may seem like it's going to be a big issue. We won't go to a certain place. Instead of going to Walmart, we'll drive all the way across town to Target, that's what I call Target, because it's so bougie. We'll go to Target instead of going to Walmart. Instead of going to Walmart, we'll go to a mom and pop store so that we don't have to see that person or we don't have to relive a certain situation from that certain place, because our inner critic is going to come up and be like, why are you going here? Ghetto in here, they're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about what you got on. They're going to talk about your hair. They're going to make fun of you. Why? Why don't you just go over here, drive the extra 15 minutes and go over here to this mom and pop. Now, if it's for your peace, and it's for your healing, I could understand it. But if it's to avoid, then yeah, that's your inner critic at play. Okay? So it triggers a lot of things and it makes you feel just out of place. That inner critic, shut up. So common critical inner voices include you're ugly. How do you know that you're ugly if people haven't told you things like that? You're so stupid. You're fat. There's something wrong with you. Or my favorite, one of the ones that used to hold me back for a long time, you're different from other people, Karen. So it's best just to stay away, stay to yourself. You're different. People won't understand you. All right? Don't start that spirituality business, Karen, because everybody is so, it doesn't have anything to do much. It has things to do with the Bible, but a lot of it doesn't. A lot of it, is within you. A lot of it is logical. Don't start that business, Karen. That's what I used to say to myself. That inner critic held me back for a while. Just do it for your friends, because they know you, and that's less chances of them judging you. That's less chances of them seeing your flaws, because they accept you. All right? All right, so pens and papers ready. There's going to be certain questions that we're going to ask that you guys are seriously going to have to know, okay? Because one way of healing the inner critic is knowing exactly what it is to you. My inner critic is different from me, and it's different and unique for each and every one of us, all right? So for your inner critic, whose voice do you hear when the inner critic comes up? Let's talk about it. Whose voice do you hear? I'll go first. I used to hear my mother's voice. Those were my mother's words. Is it your mom, your grandparents? Is it your dad? Is it a bully's voice? Whose voice is it that's really talking to you? Because 9 times out of 10, the inner critic, it didn't come from you. The inner critic that you're hearing, most of the words that are coming from this inner critic, it's not you. It's somebody else. It's a family member. It's someone else. It's a relationship. Whose voice do you hear? Okay? Write that down. Make it clear. If you're going to keep a mental note of it, or if you're going to type it on the computer, do it. Because you need to know that most of the time, the inner critic voice and the words that you're hearing is not yours. It didn't originate from you. It did not originate from you. What are some of the negative things said to you that really stopped you in your tracks? Really be like, you're just about to do something, you're just about to cook something, you're just about to embark on a new beginning, you're just about to go deeper into your gift. But something stopped. There's this one thing that keeps going on and on that stops you. One thing my mother used to always tell me is that I'm a child of struggle, right? And that stuck to me from adulthood. So whenever some things were not going right for me, I'd be like, it's because I'm a child of struggle. Oh well, I don't deserve all that good stuff everybody got, whatever. I don't deserve to be rich. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. I'm a child of struggle. Child of struggles go through struggle. So when things got too easy, I was like, hold up, why is it going easy? That inner critic came up. Something must be wrong. And don't be ashamed at what may come up. This is a safe space. I'm over here telling all my business. I'm over here telling y'all about me. It's a safe space. Don't be afraid. If you don't want to share, that's fine. If you want to share, okay. Do the hand raising thing or take yourself on mute or whatnot, and we can discuss it. But trust and believe, all of us have these situations where that inner critic pops up. We hear our mom's voice. We hear our daddy's voice. We hear that bully from the third grade that said something to you that hurt you so bad. We hear our ex-husbands' voices, our ex-spouses, our ex-boyfriends, girlfriends. We start hearing all of that. Now, the things that stop you in the tracks, what does it stop you from? Does it stop you from accomplishing goals? Getting that credit score up so you could get that house? Applying for that higher paying job? Starting that business that you're so good at that everybody's been telling you, like, girl, you need to start this business. Like, boy, you need to go ahead and do this, man. Or to promote your business. You may start the business, but are you promoting yourself? Are you letting everybody know that this is what you do? This is how you can help them. Okay? Or is it stopping you from healing from a past trauma that you know you can benefit from healing from? What is it stopping you from? What are these negative self-talks having you hit a brick wall about? Right? Really think about this. Really be honest with yourself. You owe it to you. You don't owe it to no one else. You owe it to you. You owe it to yourself, no one else. Where do you feel this resonating in your body? Uh-oh, there goes a typo. I swear I read over this stuff and I still get typos, huh? Where do you feel this resonating in your body? Is it in your mind, in your crown, when you start thinking about these things? When the inner critic comes up for me and I hear my mother's voice, I start feeling it in my chest. It's like I am just getting heartbroken, and then all of a sudden, once that voice comes up and it starts telling me all of these negative things and all of these things that I'm not, unmotivating things, I start feeling low. My whole vibration goes down, my jaw gets tightened, frown lines appear on my forehead. Everything annoys me. Everything bothers me now. I'm just disgusted. I start feeling it in my heart. Right? Some people might feel it in their head. Some might start getting angry and their chest start getting tight. Some, they might start feeling it in their back. Where do you feel this resonating in your body? Where is this responding to you? Because this has a physical effect. This has an effect on you that's messing up, raising your blood pressure. If you get mad, oh, now I'm upset. Let me go eat this ice cream so I can feel better. Let me go make me a sandwich so I can feel better. All of this is connected, mind, body, and soul. Once you figure these things out, whose voice that you're hearing, what are some of the negative things said to you? Does it stop you from accomplishing things? Where do you feel it resonating? Where? After you figure all of these things out and you've written these things out, I want you to write down, what do you want Or who do you want to replace this inner critic voice with? Who do you want to replace this with? A guide? A coach? An encouraging person? Do you want to hear a voice of somebody who's no longer here anymore, an ancestor that always encouraged you, a mother that passed on, a father that passed on? Who do you want to replace this inner critic voice with, right? Who do you want to replace this voice with? Maybe it's Barney, you know, the I love you, you love me. I love that, y'all. I gotta add that in. What do you want to replace this with? My voice? I'm always encouraging. I'm always pulling things out. I'm always teaching something. I'm always, you know, the biggest thing. I've always been that way since a child, too. I've always been the one since 10 years old. My earliest recollection of encouraging an adult was at 10 years old. I was always the one. Now, even though the inner critical voice that I hear is my mother, I'm always the one that's encouraging her. I'm always the one putting a smile on her face. Right? Isn't that a conundrum? Ain't that something? Right? Who do you want to hear in replace of you ain't good enough? Don't do that, girl. Girl, you stupid. Girl, just leave it alone. You're never going to fix it. This is never going to change. You're always going to be this way. Who do you want to replace that with? All right? So now we're about to get into the nitty gritty. This is the work cited where I got most of my information and the research. One way that you can replace this inner critical voice is via hypnosis, is via going into the mind. All right? All right? So let's talk about it. Hey, sorry. Oh, let's talk about it. Who had a show like that? Somebody had a show where their theme song was "Let's Talk About It." Let's talk about it. Was it Mother Love? Y'all remember Mother Love?
You said Mother Love?
I think so. That's what I was thinking. Mother Love, or was it Queen Latifah?
Shit.
It was one of them, huh? Don't try to guesstimate my age. I'm talking about Queen Latifah having a show. That was years, years ago. Everybody remember Mother Love, boy, give you those big old hugs, so like you could get a hug from her and be all safe and warm, Mother Love. All right, so let's talk about hypnosis. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis is a state where you learn, okay? We go through hypnosis on a daily basis. When we're driving and all of a sudden we reach the point, our destination, but we're like, how I got here? I got here quick. Dang. Dang. Oh, we done got into our mind and we done went into a trance and that induced hypnosis. When we're in school and we're receiving our lessons, that is hypnosis. Prayer, hypnosis. When we can induce, when people go into spiritual warfare or they go into intercessory prayer, when they start journaling certain things, those are forms of hypnosis and we enter hypnosis naturally. It only takes about 3.5 seconds for us to, we're in hypnosis now. All right? So all the behaviors that we've learned, the good behaviors and the bad behaviors, everything that we have experienced as far as how we react to things, how do we react to when somebody does something to us, We learned it through hypnosis, okay? Bad habits, when we're seeing our parents' relationships, we internalize that through hypnosis. We're watching it, we're learning it, right? So we all go through hypnosis. So, but if you are going somewhere and you want to get induced hypnosis, where we can reach your subconscious, we have to overload you with message units, which is your environment, your body, your noises, things like that. All of that is message units that are overloaded. So when there's loud noises, there's all these things going on, there's, you're getting confused and everything, that's hypnosis. You start going into a trance, you start going into yourself, where you're around, you're aware of everything, but you're also somewhere else. You're also deep in your thoughts. So while you're in hypnosis, you are still in full control. The person who is doing the hypnotic session, such as myself or a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a doctor, whoever, they're not in control. You're still in control of everything. You're still aware of everything that you're going on, but you are in a deep hypnotic state. You're in like a trance. Okay, so let's talk about the mind a little bit. Can you guys see this manila envelope? Okay, so this is your mind. Uh-oh, my pen don't want to work. Pen is going that way. I'm gonna have to draw it like this. Ooh. Y'all don't talk about my circle, y'all. It ain't all the way congruent. It ain't all the way together. Okay, but can y'all see that? Y'all see that circle? Okay, that is your mind. Now, from the age of 0 to 3 years old, when you are born, you have your primitive mind. Now, your primitive mind is fight, flight, or freeze. Okay? So that is this way down here. That is the first part of your mind that develops. So when you look at a baby, when you look at a child, they're not really afraid of certain things. They're not scared of things. The only thing that they're scared of is loud noises or falling, because of the sensation of falling, The loud noise, because it startles them. They're like, oh, where did it come from? What is that? They don't know what it is. So they have the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism from 0 to 3 years old. That's what it is, all right? The next part of your brain to be developed is actually 90 to 95% of what you use, and that is your subconscious brain, okay? That is your subconscious brain. And your subconscious brain has certain things that are stored into folders. So it's either you like ice cream, it's stored in your subconscious mind. If you like broccoli, it's stored in your subconscious mind. If you don't like noise, it's stored in that folder of, I don't like that, okay? So the ice cream is stored in things that brings you pleasure. That's the only thing that they know. The subconscious mind knows pleasure and not pleasure. All right? So you see the noise and you're like, yeah, that's not pleasurable. Okay? So that's around the ages of, from maybe 12 to maybe 13, those are the things that are being developed. And that's 90 to 95% of your brain that you use. Is the things that you learn, the behaviors that you learn. Somebody get on your nerves, you learn to cut them out. That's in your subconscious mind. Let's go. Let's talk about it. I see y'all like, hey, that's fine. Okay? If you don't like something that's fearful, you regress. You're like, let me go ahead and be quiet. Let me do those things. All of that is stored in pleasure or not pleasure. Those are the behaviors that are there. Okay? Now, after your subconscious mind is developed, you have something called your critical mind. I like to call the critical mind the secretary. Okay? That's the secretary. So your subconscious mind, that's running 90% of your brain power, 95% of your brain power is the CEO. That's a big boss. They approve things, they don't approve things. It's stuff like that. You dating somebody and you don't like the way they choose, it's because that subconscious mind is like, yeah, I don't like that. That don't bring me no pleasure, so I'm gonna cut this off right quick. Okay, we're not gonna date no more, boo. But your critical mind is developed after that, between 8 and 14. Now, your conscious, you only use your conscious mind 5 to 10% of the time. That is your critical thinking, your logic, your willpower. Now, you might be wanting to lose weight, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to eat ice cream. Boy, that willpower can't, but your subconscious mind say you like it. That brings you pleasure. So your willpower is being override by the CEO, your subconscious. Right? So why, when you're trying to lose weight, you know, your logical mind knows that it's right. You know, your rationality, your rationalness is, look, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be healthier. All of that stuff, your conscious is telling you that. You're rational about it. You have the willpower because you're telling yourself that you can do it. But then as soon as you see that ice cream, you're like, yo, let me go ahead and get this ice cream right quick. So your critical mind, you only use 5 to 10% of your conscious, your conscious. You only use 5 to 10% of it. Most of everything that you're doing is driven by your subconscious. Right? Because you're telling the secretary, hey, can you tell the subconscious right quick, we're not going to eat ice cream? And the subconscious is like, oh, the CEO isn't here today. But you keep doing what you're doing, okay? Because that critical mind is the secretary. That's the person blocking you from reaching the subconscious and changing that behavior from not eating that ice cream. From changing that behavior of when you get upset, you start cussing people out and being rude. Right? Because that's what you learned and it's just buried in there. It's there. So the secretary is like, oh, the CEO isn't here today. Can you try tomorrow? You come back tomorrow, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this again tomorrow. I'm not going to eat ice cream, y'all. I'm going to go on this journey of being a vegan. I'm going to be I'm going to be healthy. And then the secretary is like, busy today. They're actually out on vacation. Would you like to make an appointment for next week? And you're like, what the heck? I wonder if I'm going to get this stuff like, you start getting frustrated and you're like, no, forget it. And the secretary is like, oh, you've been doing this all this time, so you seem to be perfectly fine. So why change it?
The secretary need to step up her damn game. Because the subconscious mind, that's why the subconscious mind win all the damn time. 95% and pleasure. That's why you can't stop smoking. That's why your ass can't stop drinking. God damn.
Yes. This is why people start to change their lifestyles and then they regress, or they start to try to live differently and they can't stop because that secretary, that critical mind, is like, well, yeah, okay, the CEO is fine. So with hypnosis, what we're doing, we're overloading the message unit. We're overloading the environment with noise, with suggestions, We're overloading, and we're using our bodies, we're using our senses, we're using everything to overload the mind and bypass that critical mind there. So basically, it's just like you hand the secretary $100, be like, go get your hair and nails done and go chill with your boyfriend, and they'd be like, hmm. Now that secretary isn't there anymore, and all the good behaviors that we want to change and we want to transfer over, now we're able to do that because we bypass that critical mind. We done gave the secretary a day off. And lo and behold, the CEO in the office the whole time. But you tell her to go get her nails. Okay. Now you can walk in through that office. You can let the CEO know of your idea, and you can implant it there. And then afterwards, you can shut the door, lock what you did, lock it in, make sure that the CEO is writing it in the folder of pleasure, putting it in the computer. Some people like to think their mind is a computer. Put it in the computer, save that file, and now you can shut the door and save it and know that it's there. And that, my friend, is the beauty of hypnosis, and that's the process. All right? That's the process of it. Overloading the message units, the environment, the noise, your body, using your senses. It's all getting overloaded where that secretary just goes out for the day. And now you can get to that subconscious. And now you can plant that good behavior. Now you can change that diet. Now you can do what you need to do. Okay, does that make sense to you? It does. Allow your body to feel the air going through your nose and over your third eye, through your crown, down your spine, and through your roots. And as you start doing that, go ahead and close your eyes, deep, deep sleep. Close your eyes, deep, deep sleep. Okay?